Okay, thank you everyone. I think we'll get started, and anyone who joins us late will hopefully be able to just jump in and follow what's going on. So, um, who is the Energy Institute? What do we do? Why do we exist? So, the headline there is quite simple: creating a better energy future for our members and society by accelerating a just global energy transition to net zero. So this is talking about, and we are working towards safe, affordable energy for the entire human population. We are based in London, but we our outlook is very much a global outlook, and this is sort of formed by our response to the triple crisis, so the crisis in security of supply, the issues with the rising cost of energy, and of course the concerns about climate change and the impacts of rising greenhouse gas emissions. So our view and our response to this is improvements in energy efficiency, accelerating the deployment of low carbon energy such as wind and solar, and decarbonizing how we produce and use oil and gas when we still need it. Apologies, I'm just letting people in as we go, so I just got to do that. So that's our response. That's what we're trying to do, and we have a sort of a long history as an organisation. We are set up to meet these challenges. Now you're all here today, or hopefully you're here today to learn about our chartered professional membership and the support we can give. And we have a sort of long history in that, but we'll get into that into the details on that as we move forward. In terms of what we do as an organisation, we have a triple role. Again, filling those, feeding into those three themes. So attracting, developing, and equipping the diverse future energy workforce, yourselves on the call today, and your colleagues. And there's going to be the majority of the subject of today's webinar. Informing energy decision making through convening expertise and advice. And again, I'll cover some of what the areas we work on that. And then enabling industry and consumers to make energy lower carbon, safer, and more efficient. Again, we'll cover a little bit of how we do that. So on that first role, attracting, developing, and equipping the diverse future energy workforce. In simple terms, it's people, skills, and careers. So our professional membership, supporting people towards that journey on professional membership, and then also giving out or awarding those professional memberships to hopefully yourselves. We do that for a number of different methods and routes. All of our benefits, all of our member benefits, and again, we'll go into a bit more detail about these, are set up to support you on that journey to becoming a professional member and becoming chartered, hopefully down the line, or sooner rather than later. We have a number of training training courses that are available to members and non-members, and then we also recognise people and projects with our awards, and we're growing this offering as we go. A huge area that we're working towards is, or a large part of what we're doing is our Powerful Women program, which is looking at improving gender diversity in the energy industry, and also Generation 2050, which is looking at tomorrow's leaders, the leaders who will be in post at the top of energy in 2050. Sorry. One of those, as I mentioned, is EI Academy. This is a sort of one-stop shop to find training that might support you on your journey as an energy professional, and help you with your if you do want to go down that route of chartership. Our second sort of branch is informing energy decision making through convening expertise and advice. So the journey to net zero, and how we're going to get there, what technologies are involved, what investments are required, and the sort of informing the public debate on all of this. So we try and condense all of our knowledge from our over 20,000 members and over 200 companies who are engaged with these with us and passing it on to both our members and energy decision makers. So how do we do that? What's our sort of method for this? So we've got a weekly magazine called New Energy World that goes out to all members and hopefully provides a sort of an overview of what's going on in the energy landscape. Obviously, yourselves on the call will be experts in your areas. It's unlikely to teach you anything in your area, although it might. I'm not going to rule it out, but it's more about giving you sort of context to where you're fit into the energy environment and what's going on around your sort of immediate scope of area. We have the Energy Barometer, which is a way for the energy industry to feedback their views on the concerns and issues that face the energy industry. It goes out to all EI members and we target it in different areas to try and get a view of what the energy sort of careers, energy professionals view of what's going on in the world and what the issues are. We have a number of events throughout the year, including webinars like this, and then we have our IE Week conference in February. I believe dates have been announced, but I don't think you can book on for next year's one just yet. But we have that, which is a great, is an excellent conference. We convene some of the best and brightest minds in energy to talk about the issues that they see and have. And then we have a sort of a wide range of we have an e-library and actually a physical library that can be visited by members. And that gives you sort of, and as members, you have access to that to support you on your membership journey. And then moving into that third strand, enabling industry and consumers to make energy lower carbon, safer, and more efficient. So this is through our company membership, where we support companies to upskill their staff, but also access technical guidance. Again, our technical program, which is supporting industry to find solutions to problems that is common across industry. And then we have both G+ and Safety On, we're the home of those organisations, and that's about supporting onshore and offshore wind to pursue health and safety goals and sort of really improve safety within the energy industry. In addition to that, we have EI Toolbox. It's a free tool that we've delivered with industry to support health and safety within the energy industry. It's a learning from incidents tool, and if nothing else today, please do download that and pass that on to your colleagues, because it is there to reduce and hopefully remove all accidents in the energy industry. But that is a free tool that we've produced for everyone and anyone to hopefully reduce incidents in the energy industry. And we also are the Register of Professional Energy Consultants at the Energy Institute. So at a glance, what is our technical program? It's the energy transition, it's health and safety, and it's fuel quality and management. You can see below sort of some of the areas we touch on, but it's a huge program, and it's sort of very and it's growing each year. And we have a very global community with this, so hopefully we have a sort of a big representation from around the world on the call today, but we certainly do in our membership, and we have members from all across the world, and we have branches to support them all across the world as well. So do get involved wherever you are, and then we also engage with a wide range of organisations and collaborations, as seen there. So that's a bit about us, about the Energy Institute, who we are and what we do. We're now going to sort of dial down into our sort of membership and professional development side. I didn't mention this at the start, but this meeting is being recorded, and we will be putting it up on YouTube within a few weeks. So if you do miss anything or want to go back, it will be available, and I will email it out to everyone who registered to attend today. And do feel free to pass it on to colleagues who are unable to be here. In addition to this, I'll also be sending out the slides to everyone registered, so don't feel that you need to make notes or take pictures if something quickly flashes up, because I will keep the slides will be available after the meeting. In terms of structure, there's probably another 20 minutes, half an hour. We'll talk about membership, and then we'll do a Q&A at the end. If you do want to ask questions as we go, feel free to do so, but I may not be able to jump on them as we go, but I will certainly pick them up at the end. But that so that's how we'll go with the meeting. But yeah, there'll be time at the end for a Q&A. So if you have any questions, do feel free to ask them in the chat. Or likewise, if you want to email me after the meeting, my email, hopefully you all have, but it's on some of the slides as well. So what are the benefits of membership? What's in it for you? Why should you go down this route? It's an opportunity to gain professional recognition. It supports you in your energy career, and it shows that you're sort of growing yourself as an energy professional. You get discounted rates on training courses. You get access to our EI Connect mentoring platform. This is a platform that will support you, where you can meet with a mentor and you can sort of develop that relationship how you see fit. There's a range of mentors all across the energy industry, so in all likelihood there'll be someone who's either had or has the career that you're interested in, and you can ask them questions and they can support you on that journey. We've got My Career Path, and this is a mapping tool that you can map your existing skills onto charterships that you're looking to achieve, and then you can fill in the gaps, because once you know where the gaps are, it makes it a lot easier to fill them in and start the process of that chartership process ahead of sort of downloading the application sort of forms. You get access to our knowledge service and our e-library, as mentioned earlier, and then obviously the newsletters and our magazine. And you also get discounted rates on technical publications and papers. So there is a huge library available to you. It's available online, and if you're not a member already, you can still browse the library and see what's there, and it'll show you sort of the discounts available. And there's also a number of free documents on there as well. So do use that resource. It's available to you both as members, it's available to you as members. Additionally, you get discounted rates on our events, including IE Week, which is again, as I mentioned, is a huge sort of coming together of industry. So it's very much worth attending if you're able to. An opportunity to engage your local branch. So we've got branches and young professional networks all across the UK. So if you're based in London, Aberdeen, Birmingham, there's a big branch, and that's a growing availability. Additionally, we have branches all across the world, from Hong Kong, Singapore to Nigeria, to the Caribbean. So there are branches local, and if you're looking, if there's not a branch, that we're open to setting them up. So do get involved with your branches where possible. And then there's an opportunity to engage with our social media groups and talk back to the Energy Institute of what you're saying with our surveys and our research initiatives. As mentioned, so I've got our access to knowledge resources and our good practice. These can be found on the two websites here. And as members, you will have access to these from the get-go to see what's happening in the energy industry. In addition to this, so in summary, what are the benefits of membership? What are you doing it for? Why would you do it? It's bolstering your credentials. It's showing that you are interested in developing yourself as an energy professional, that you are committed to that as a career, and that you take yourself and your career seriously. It's an opportunity to connect with your peers, get involved, find a mentor if that's what you want, and solve problems and solve concerns and ask questions with people who are going through the same thing or have gone through the same thing as you recently. It's a network for you to use and to leverage to support your career. As mentioned, there's support. I haven't mentioned it up until now, but we have EI Assist, which is a confidential support. You may have something similar in your companies, or you may not, but it exists for you as a member of the Energy Institute, so do use it. It's an opportunity to broaden your horizons, understand more about what the career that you work in, the industry you work in, sorry, and how it supports you. And it's an opportunity to sort of contribute to your industry, see that the industry grows, see the industry evolves and moves on, and also just gain a wider perspective of what's going on in energy. And then, so that's the benefits of membership. What are you looking at for professional recognition? What's the benefits? Why would you do it? It's a commitment of your professionalism. It shows that you are taking your career seriously and that you have an opportunity to stand out above your competitors for roles, for promotions, for new jobs. It shows that you have not just the competence but also the expertise and the work ethic to do the job in front of you. And it's an opportunity for you to validate yourself. If you're just constantly working, moving from project to project, it's an opportunity to sort of take a step back and say, no, I am developing as an individual, I am developing as a professional, and my career is taking steps that are growing me as an energy professional. And these are international titles. These are sought after all over the world. So they can support you all over the world. So they can support you to grow and open doors to you in areas that might not possibly have been available to you. Those are the benefits. What are the grades? What are we sort of actually looking at in terms of your energy journey? So we've got our introductory grades, student, associate, and affiliate. The vast majority of everyone will be, I think, associate on the call today. That's available, and that's very much our sort of our journey towards becoming professional. It's set up to support you on that journey. We will. There may be some who are on the call who are students. That's great. That's fantastic. It's good to see that you're taking those steps and really sort of looking ready to move your career forward. In time, hopefully you will then move on to becoming an associate member and supporting you towards your sort of professional career. I think it's unlikely there'll be any affiliates on the call, but if you are, again, do consider moving across to that associate level and working towards your professional membership. And then we have our professional grades. So again, first port of call for most members will be, for most associate members will be member. That's the starting point of our professional grades, and it's for, as it says there, it's for professionals, experienced professionals who are then looking to apply for our chartered titles. In addition to this, we have our fellow grade of membership. That's the highest grade we offer and is for sort of leaders who have made a sustained and significant impact on the energy industry. It's not really there for early careers, for people who are early to their career, but it's definitely something to aim for. We sort of talk about both member and fellow as it's never a no, it's just whether you're ready at this moment. And fellow is definitely something to aim for in the future. So do keep that in mind. But I imagine if you're on this call, you're probably more interested in the member aspect of it. But we'll talk a little bit about fellow later, so it's not completely wasted if you are interested in fellow. So the membership journey, again, it's not sort of written in stone or anything. Generally, people join as a student, then look to upgrade to an associate before then becoming a professional member. You can join at any point on this. If you're not a student, you can join as an associate. Of course, you can, and you can also look to join as a member as well, which we'll get into next. So we're licensed by the Engineering Council toward several titles, which are Chartered Engineer, Incorporated Engineer, and Engineering Technician. And then the Society for the Environment licenses us to award the Chartered Environmentalist title. In addition to these titles that we award under license, we also have our own unique titles, which are unique to the Energy Institute, and that's Chartered Energy Engineer, Chartered Petroleum Engineer, and Chartered Energy Manager. So your sort of membership journey, what would it look like? So you would initially apply either to be a member or a fellow, and then you would look to subsequently apply to become one of our chartered titles, or incorporated, or one of our additional titles. So if you're thinking of, for example, becoming a chartered engineer, your first step on that process is to become a member, an MEI, and then we'll go through that sort of application process and what we are looking for as the Energy Institute. So if you're looking to apply for the MEI, Process is quite simple. You download the application pack online, complete the requested document, where you'll then send it into the membership office. Again, there's guidance notes with all these application packs available to yourselves, and they'll show you what you're looking to do. But if you do have any questions, feel free to email the office. We're very good at responding and to questions, and hopefully should have an answer to you. Once it's been initially reviewed by the EI membership team, just to make sure everything's there and in hand, it will then be reviewed by assessors, by two assessors, and they'll both either request more information, or they'll accept it, and you'll get the outcome as successful. On occasion, the assessors might not be sure about the candidate, in which case it'll be reviewed by our professional development committee. That's made up of industry experts who are able to sort of give a really strong assessment. Again, with this process, it's never going to be a no. It might just be that it's not yet, that you're not quite ready yet, that your application isn't quite strong enough yet. But if you complete the application and you fill out all the areas and you're confident that you follow the guidance notes, it's very likely that your application will be strong enough. So what are we looking for on the application? What should you have in mind when you're completing the application? So it's energy related experience. So we're looking for a minimum of 4 years experience. This is the new MEI scheme, where we have now put a number on it. Previously, we were looking for experience that covered the requested competencies, but now we are looking for a minimum of 4 years. So please don't, if you haven't got your 4 years of energy experience, please do sort of just hold off a little bit until you get there. And when you're possible, do talk about how you've contributed to energy as well. If you're sort of a little bit energy adjacent in your role, talk about how that's relevant. Demonstration of independent judgment and expertise. Again, this is basically defining your own work, problem solving and innovating within the energy industry. So when you're filling out your application, have these sort of 3 things in mind. And again, responsibility for people and projects. So it's what responsibility you hold, what your involvement has been, and your sort of engagement in the success of the project, how you were personally involved in the project success. Once you've done that, hopefully you will be successfully you'll be a successful MEI, and you'll get your sort of recognition from the Energy Institute. Then the next step, hopefully, would then be to apply for one of our charter titles, as shown here. So one of these ones, either the ones licensed by the Engineering Council and Society for the Environment, or our unique ones. Hopefully your next step is to then look at applying for one of those. So what does that entail? What's the process? You download the application pack from online, read the guidance notes, make sure you do read these in detail. The guidance notes are really good. They're well written, they're clear, so they do have pretty much all of your answers. Complete both parts A and B, proofread your sections, make sure they're well written. There's no mistakes. This application process is a mark of your skill as an energy professional. Mistakes and things like that go down against you. You need to make sure that this is an excellent application. You will need a sponsor for this process, so make sure you have you need 2 sponsors for the process. Ideally, one of them is your line manager, and one of them is someone who already has the professional title for which you're applying. And do engage with them on the process. Obviously, one of them will have been through the process already. Ideally, both of them will have been through the process, so they will know what makes a strong application. So do engage with them on the process, and then send your completed application form into the professional's email. So what's in the application pack? So these can be downloaded online from our website, but just sort of going through it quickly. There's an application form, which is again, it's just is a checklist to make sure that you're providing all the correct documents for the process. And then there's the sections of the professional development review, the CPD record. Again, an organizational chart. This is not the organizational chart is not the entire organization, but it's just a little bit of context where you sit within the organization. And then again, the requested information, and then a competence grid for the charter title for which you're applying. We've got a question in the chat, which is it essential for both my sponsors to be chartered? For example, if my line manager is not chartered, are they still a preferred sponsor? Yes, so one of them needs to be chartered, but one doesn't. And we would like to see it from one of your sponsors to be someone like a line manager or a manager. So no, they don't both need to be sponsored, but you do need one of them to be. Hopefully that answers that question. Moving forward. So when we're completing our professional development review, and it's important to note that the professional development review is not a CV. There's guidance again on what professional development review is. We're not looking for a CV. Please don't submit a CV. And again, a competence grid is also not a CV. It's responding to the areas that are sort of talked about in the grid. We have an example a little bit later on, so I'll show you that. These are the 5 things you need to have in your mind when completing your competence grid. So it's knowledge and understanding, demonstrate that knowledge, how you are applying that knowledge, your leadership and management, how you have led and supported projects, areas of work, how you've managed them, your communication and personal skills. Again, have it in mind that it needs to be well written, it needs to be reasonably concise, but it also needs to be informative. And your commitment to professional standards. So that's your timeline, your professional. Again, it's how you've hit those standards and you've continued to meet them. So have in mind those 5 areas. So this is a competence grid. It's a bit tricky to see. You'd probably be better off downloading the application packs online and going through it. But when we're filling this out, have those 5 ideas in your head. Possibly write them out, possibly have them on a sort of a sticky note or something, but have these sort of 5 areas and everything. 5 sort of ideas in all your writing when you complete your competence grid. So again, this is a competence grid. Have those 5 ideas in your mind when you're completing it. And do try and make sure you're answering the question. Do talk about your experience, how it's relevant, how you've applied it, and how it demonstrates the competence they're looking for. And try and, when you're filling out your competence grid, try and use a variety of examples where possible. You can, of course, use the same one over again more than once if you need to, but using different ones shows your sort of your repertoire as an energy professional and how built up, or the variety of experience that you have as an energy professional. So there's some clear do's and don'ts. Do write in the first person. Talk about how you were crucial to the success of a project. The team that you work in is not going to be getting this award or title. Only you are. So it needs to be relevant to what you have done. Don't talk about how we as a team did this or we as a team did that, because it's not relevant. You need to talk about how you were crucial to the success of the project and the team. Oh, sorry, I've got a question. Give me 2 seconds. Oh, I've got a few actually. Let me try and go through. Sorry, yeah. So the session is being recorded. So that'll be available on YouTube. Is there a minimum number of years in the energy industry for chartership similar to MEI? There isn't. Obviously, you'll need to have the 4 years minimum to apply for the MEI. So have that in mind. In terms of the chartership, it's a tricky one because if you've got the skills and the expertise, and obviously you'll have a 4-year minimum because you need the 4 years to apply for MEI. you should be all right. If you've got the demonstrate, if you can demonstrate your skills, and you can fill out the competencies, um, that's fine. So there is no minimum number of years for a chartership application, but you do need to meet the standards, obviously. And then I've got a question: what are the deadlines for CM MEI submission for the year, or is it any time? So MEI submissions are rolling; they're throughout the year. And again, with the chartered submissions, again, I would just put them in when they're ready. Because there are some deadlines. I can't recall off the top of my head when the next one is, I'm afraid. So apologies for that. I'll try and put it out in the next email. But do just put it in when you're ready and when you're confident with it. And then finally, I'll just answer this last question, then I'll carry on, and I'll come back to these at the end. And then, is the CEng a restricted type of accreditation, or is it a general CEng, as in restricted to one of those three categories? Right. So just going back, you apply. So if you're looking to apply as a chartered engineer with the Energy Institute, you would also be applying for either a chartered energy engineer or chartered petroleum engineer. Hopefully that makes sense to that question. Hopefully that answers that question. I will carry on because I'm mindful of time, but I will come back to these questions at the end. And if I do miss anything or you're not quite sure of what I said, I'm more than happy. Please do email me and I'll come back with a response. So when we there's two quick questions which I'll just quickly go through. Does PhD research experience classified as an experience? It does, but it has to be hands-on energy experience. It has to be involved in the energy industry. So yes, it can help, it can count, but be careful that it is definitely energy experience with it. And then, is international experience accepted as a 4-year minimum? Absolutely. Yes, international experience is definitely is of course is valued as the same as anywhere else. And then you can't apply for MEI and CEng at the same time. You have to apply for MEI and then apply for chartered. Right, sorry, circling back, I've been distracted a little bit there. When we're doing the PDRs and the competence grid, what are the do's, what are the don'ts? Do write in the first person, do include good detail. The people who are reviewing these documents have a grounding and experience in energy, so they will be able to understand what you're saying. That said, you don't need to give away company secrets or anything that's commercially sensitive, but do try and include a little bit of detail about what you're doing. Mix up your examples, use a bit of variety with your examples. And if you feel the need to include supplementary information, please do, but make sure it's relevant. Assessors do not want to be reading too much information, so do try and keep it relevant. When you're completing the application, don't forget to proofread it. Make sure you follow the application. Make sure the application's as good as it can be. We're not looking for a CV. We do want a professional development review. Don't plagiarize, obviously, don't copy it. It has to be your work because, and we'll talk about why in a second. And again, fill out all the sections. The only thing that's going to happen is you'll be sent back the grid and you'll have to do it again. And again, try and stay within the word count. Part of the skill of being an energy professional is being able to provide information in a concise manner. So do make sure you're sticking to the word count for the competence grid. There's a word count listed on it. I believe it's about 500 for each competence, but there is a word count listed on the guidance notes and on the document. So do follow that. Once you've completed your application, it will then be sent in to the Energy Institute team. It will be initially reviewed by the EI membership team before a formal assessment will be completed by a membership panel. Once the panel have assessed it, you'll then be invited for an interview. This is a discussion about your career, your history, yourself as an energy professional, which is why it's important that you can speak to all aspects of your competence grid, because the interviewers will want to know more about areas that you've discussed. But mostly it's just about having a conversation about your energy career, and they'll be trying to pull little bits more of information that they feel you might have missed in your competence group. So um, please do make sure you're not writing anything additionally, and I didn't mention it before, is please don't use AI. We do check for that, and it has to be your own work, and you have to be able to speak to it. So please do avoid AI when completing your application. Once, as mentioned, we then move through to the interview stage. Again, this is a discussion. It's not a sort of it's not a sort of interview, a tricky word, but it is a discussion about your career, and it will be reasonably informal. That being said, there will be a gap between you submitting your application and the time of the actual interview. So do make sure you're familiar with your application. Make sure you've read through it ahead of the meeting. We've had candidates reading it during the interview, and it doesn't provide a great impression to the interviewers. So please do make sure you're familiar with your application. Obviously, it's your career. Additionally, if there is a gap between your application and your interview, please feel free to mention things that have subsequently come up, work that you've subsequently done, because it all supports you. It all supports the sort of narrative of you as an energy professional. So just moving forward, and we'll go through these reasonably quickly because it's a kind of a bit of text, but we'll just go through the requirements for our professional titles, and then I'll hopefully have a bit of time to do some questions at the end. So we have our fast track route. This is for people who are already chartered engineers. They just might hold it with a different professional body. If you're looking to move across to the Energy Institute, that's something that we can do, in which case you'd literally just be applying for the MEI, and then your title would move across. So it's quite a streamlined process, and again, there's an application pack online with a bit more detail. So we talked about our MEI route. We also have our fellow. So there's the route to fellow is an application online. And we're looking for three areas within 15 categories, which is all available online. You can also be nominated or nominate someone for this role, for this membership, and it's reviewed by our fellowship board, who will then approve and invite you to become a fellow. Again, this is a great standard to go for, but it might not be. It's the top of your career. It's when you're at your pinnacle. So it might not be for the moment. So we have 3 engineering titles. Again, the educational standards are listed there. Hopefully you can all see that. When you're applying for our engineering titles, do make sure that you meet the educational requirements. If you're not sure, feel free to email in. Don't start the process without checking that you've got the educational requirements and your degree courses and your further education courses are accredited by the Engineering Council. If they're not, that's not a problem. We offer interim registration. So this is to show that your experience has a likeness with, or is as strong as the educational requirements. So this is mandatory for people whose courses are not accredited by the Engineering Council, and it basically shows that you meet the standard. You just don't have an accredited course. Once you go through the process, again, there's an application form and a processing period. But once you've been approved for interim registration, you can then look to apply for one of our chartered titles. So our engineering titles, CEng, iEng, and EngTech. You obviously need to meet the educational standard. If you don't, that's where interim registration comes in. Have relevant practical experience and be able to speak to it. By demonstrating it, you'll abide by the AI Code of Conduct, which is available on our website. You'll need to continue to maintain CPD. As with all of our titles, it's not something that you earn once and that's it. You need to continue to re-earn it every year by maintaining your CPD. And you'll also obviously already be a professional member. If you are looking at chartered engineer, you will also need to choose either a chartered energy engineer or chartered petroleum engineer. Sorry, I've jumped two there. In addition to this, we've got a chartered environmentalist, and this is licensed by the Society for the Environment. Again, you need to have a relevant master's degree or equivalent, relevant practical experience, abide by both the EI and the Society of the Environment's Code of Conduct. And again, it's committing to maintaining your CPD. It's sort of re-earning this qualification every year as you go. Chartered Energy Manager. So again, it's practical experience, abiding by the Code of Conduct, maintaining your CPD, and being a professional member. So what's the next process? What do you do next? So join as a member if you're not already. Take advantage of all the resources available to us. Download your application pack. Make sure you check your educational requirements. Do the gap analysis on the competencies and standards that My Career Path has mentioned is available to yourselves to support you on that journey, and get started. But one of the crucial things we talk about is starting straight away. Even if you don't think you're ready to become a chartered engineer just yet, it's crucial that you start the process, because you can see where the gaps are, and you can take those opportunities where they come to fill in the gaps. It would be very frustrating to think that you're 2 years away, wait 2 years, and realize that you've missed a load of opportunities that you needed to become a chartered engineer, for example, and you had those opportunities, but you didn't take them because you didn't know that they were gaps in your competency. So do think about that when you go forward. The support available for the Energy Institute, there's guidance notes, they're well written, and they are available to yourself, and they offer a lot of support. Talk to your sponsors. If you're not sure about your sponsors or how to find them, as members, you are able to use EI Connect. This is our mentoring platform, and will support you to on the journey to finding a mentor. And feel free to email us. We've got the professionals at Energy Institute email, where you'll be able to receive support. And again, my email's there, and if you've got any questions about membership, that's the email there. Right, I've seen there's some questions coming in, so I'll get started on those. But in the meantime, if you do want to ask them, right. So I think I've covered that one, but I will just go over it again. Can I apply for the same time for MEI and CEng? You can't. You need to have your MEI before you then look to apply for CEng. It's a split process now. So that's it. So you need to have your MEI first, but the MEI is quite a quick process. So you can get that done so you can do the MEI quickly, and then whilst that's processing and being approved, you can then start the process for your CEng. If you have worked for years, like 15 years in the energy sector, and you left for Masters in Education, can you still apply? Yeah, of course. The experience doesn't have to be right up until present. It can be spread across a number of years. If you work in the energy industry, leave, and then come back, the experience prior is still relevant. Got a question that says, I'm with iChemie, almost at chartered level. Can you cross across to the EI? Yes, you can. If you are chartered with iChemie, you can go down the fast track route. If you're not, you'll need to go through the normal process of applying for MEI and then chartered one of our chartered titles. There's a question about if MEI can't be applied at the same time. Is it an unnecessary obstacle? We have changed it recently on the back of feedback, because people were sort of wanted to go through the process separately. I appreciate that's not going to be popular with everyone, but it was felt that this is a better way of doing it, because you can get the MEI process done quickly, and then the chartered engineer process can be done a little bit quicker. Can an unregistered member be a sponsored referee? Yes, they can. Yeah, so long as they are, well, ideally they're registered with another industry, professional body, but they can, yes. So we've got a question about 5 years of project engineer, bit of energy experience, plus 2 years of energy experience. So we're looking for 4 years of energy experience. If you can speak to that, across that split of 5 and 2 years, then that will be suitable. But if you're not sure, do just feel free to email myself with a bit more detail, and I can hopefully provide answers. If you apply through interim registration, is it necessary to still obtain MEI before pursuing chartered engineer status? Yes, it is, but you can do the MEI and interim concurrently. So you can do your MEI at any time. So it shouldn't hold you up. Apologies, I've got a question from Stephen that I can't quite understand. Would you be able to just provide a bit more context to that? How do you progress from interim registration to CEng? So the process is you start the interim application. Once you're approved, you're then you're then able to move up to CEng and just apply as normal, citing your interim registration. So I've got a question here. If my studies have been done outside of the UK from a university is not included within the immediate approval list of the EI, which steps should I take? My professional experience is approximately 7 years. So a lot of universities globally are licensed by the Engineering Council. Without going into too much detail, there's something called the Washington Accords, which recognizes between countries. So you can find out on, I believe, the Engineering Council website whether your course is accredited. It doesn't mean that it's just because it's not from the UK doesn't mean it won't be accredited. So do check that first. If it's not on that list of accredited courses through the Engineering Council and the Washington Accords, you can then go down, the next step would be to go down that interim route at first instance. But do check because it's obviously there's no guarantees, but it's quite possible that it is still licensed. Is there a certain amount of years of experience required for CEng, or is it just whether your experience is more beneficial? Yeah, it's the quality of the experience for CEng. So you'll obviously have to have a minimum of 4 years to apply for MEI, but beyond that, if you meet the standards, you've got enough experience, or the time of your experience is enough. Can you elaborate more on the use of AI? If I state my competencies and work experience in a pool and use AI to restructure my answers to speak more direction with my questions. Yeah, it's a difficult one. I appreciate that. But we are looking for people to complete their applications themselves. If AI is reviewing it, but you're reviewing it as well, it's a difficult one. Our policy at the moment is that we're discouraging any use of AI. I don't know if that will change in the future, I'm afraid. So apologies for I haven't really been able to answer that question. Apologies. Right. Question. I have not worked in the industry before, but I have over 7 years of university teaching experience in mechanical engineering. Am I still qualified to apply for MEI and CEng? Yes. Yeah, I mean, teaching in university is experience as far as we're concerned. Certainly if it's energy related, well, yeah, obviously it has to be energy related teaching experience, but yes, it is relevant. I don't know the fees off the top of my head, I can't recall, but they are available on our website. If you look on our website under the membership section, the fees for all of our applications are there. I can't recall off the top of my head what they are, I'm afraid. Sorry. So I've got a question, was you work in the energy sector for 4 years and left a master's program, not working now. Can you still apply for a professional level? If you have the experience and you're still doing your CPD, then yes, you can still apply, but you need to obviously be doing continuous professional development. So you'd need to be able to demonstrate that. I have experience in other African countries. Can I still apply for charter membership? Yes, of course. Yeah, experience is experience wherever it takes place. That's absolutely fine. Must the chartered sponsor be chartered with the Energy Institute, or can they be chartered sponsor through another engineering institution? They can be from, yeah, they don't need to be from the Energy Institute. They can be from IMechE, for example. They don't have, yeah, as long as they have the charter title for which you're applying, they can be from another institute. We obviously prefer Energy Institute sponsors, but we are obviously flexible and are keen to support you on that journey however possible. I have 16 years oil and gas experience and delved into renewables over 5 years ago. An additional career to, in addition to the oil and gas, will I be eligible for? Yeah, it's energy. We're there to support oil and gas, solar, wind, any form of energy generation, energy support. So no, that will be relevant. In fact, I would say it would make you a stronger candidate by having a variety of energy experience. Can I go from interim registration to CEng, or do I have to go through MEI? So MEI is that you're a professional member of the Energy Institute, and then you're looking for a chartered title. So you need to have both. I would look at them as almost two streams. You'd have your membership stream and then your title stream. Interim registration supports you on your journey to your chartered engineership or chartered engineer, which is your title stream. But at the same time, you also need to have your MEI. Hopefully I've answered all the questions there. I'll just check the Q&A section as well. Right, I have over 4 years experience in renewable energy and currently studying for masters. I'm currently a student membership. Which membership can I apply for after school? So if you're ready to go down the chartership route, if you think you're ready, then you can apply for the membership one, especially if you have 4 years already in renewable experience. Initially, you might want to go for the associate membership to start with. I believe as a student you get a year free, and then you can then look to apply to become a member. But you can go in straight in as a member if you think you're ready to apply for your titles. Averagely, how long does it take for the panel to review an interim application? It's a difficult one. I appreciate that's not the answer you're looking for. It depends on the application. If they have to request more information, obviously that will add to it. But it's about 3 or 4 months. But they can be longer if they need more information or if you get the timing a little bit wrong with when the panels meet. In addition to that, they can be a lot quicker as well. So it really depends on sort of your application and the time of year you put it in. My recommendation would be to put it in as soon as possible. The office is pretty good at keeping you up to date. So if you have any questions or if you're wondering what your timeline is, do just ask. And they'll be able to give you sort of more feedback. There's not really a general rule, it's on a sort of case by case basis. So do look at going through, speak to the office when you apply and they'll give you an idea. Again, for CEng, again, it's similar. It depends on the application. Some of them can be done in a few months, some of them take up to a year, depending on whether we have to keep coming back and asking for more information or if the information's not quite right. Right, I don't think I've got any more questions. Oh, sorry. Question on the fees for MEI and CEng. They're available on our website. I can't recall off the top of my head, I'm afraid. So if you look on the website, you will find information there. Right, to clarify whether one sponsor needs to be with the Energy Institute already, is this for charter? Yeah, that's for charter memberships. And again, they don't have to be with the Energy Institute, but they do need to hold the title for which you're applying. So if you're looking to apply for a chartered engineer, you would need one of your sponsors to be a chartered engineer as well. Ideally the Energy Institute, but it's not going to hurt your application if they're with another professional body. For example, IMechE. Right, thank you very much, everyone who's attended today. I think we're out of questions, so I will close the meeting off there. As mentioned, there will be a recording sent out, and I'll also put the slides out over the coming days. If you have any questions, please do feel free to email me. Thank you very much, and have a great rest of your day wherever you are.